So if you have no problem in that chapter which is going to come on Sunday online test, let's start the class. Tomorrow, I want all of you to attend to write your papers nicely and please take the picture clearly because it is very difficult for me to correct it. Okay. So do this, follow those instructions, all the instructions which we usually send you on WhatsApp and write down all your answers nicely. Okay. Let's begin the class. I hope screen is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Clear, voice audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Very
ma'am.
good, very good, very good. Who is sleeping in my class? Yes, ma'am. Hmm? Get up. Did you have your breakfast? Because you need breakfast to keep your mind fresh. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So I have enabled the classroom. Whoever wants to join the class, they can come. And who is this Ricky? Who is this Ricky Kumar? Okay. Hmm. So children, you all remember what happened? That once upon a time, a statue of a prince was standing on a high platform. This prince was named as Happy Prince because when he was alive, he always remained very happy. He had never seen any problem in his life. It's if you remember Gautam Buddha's story, he too had the same kind of childhood where his parents, his father Suddhodhan, kept him away from all the worries, from all the miseries of life. No. So similarly, but later on, Gautam Buddha, he was transformed. He saw four important things that we will discuss someday. So you can also say that Happy Prince was also, he had a very secure childhood, very nice childhood. He was happy because he had never seen anything unhappy, any misery in his life. Now, so when he died, a big statue of him was erected in the center of the city in his memory. Okay. Now, and since he was he belonged to a very rich family, rich kingdom, so his statue was covered with the thin layers of gold. And instead of eyeballs, there were two bright shining sapphire stones, which is actually very precious gemstone. And in the handle of his sword, a bright ruby stone was placed. Okay, that we discussed yesterday. Then we also saw that swallow, one tiny bird, okay, that came to that place. Why? Because swallow was planning to go to Egypt because winter was approaching, and this tiny bird, these birds, they are in a habit of migrating according to the seasons. And it was difficult for these birds to survive in excessive cold and winter. So generally, they go to during winter season. They usually go to a place which is much more warmer. So this bird also decided to go to Egypt. Okay, and in while going to the Egypt, he reached to that town where he saw that one. Obviously, he was looking for a place where he could take the rest. The entire night he would have slept. So since he was flying on its way to Egypt, he reached that city. This city, the city of the Happy Prince. And obviously, the bird wanted to stay somewhere for the night. He thinks upon where to stay at night. And very humorous line has been used by the writer that he thought, oh, the town has made some arrangements for me. But it's a simple humor. The bird does not mean what it is saying. He simply wanted to make it a humorous and he wanted to get a shelter. So that bird thought it was good place to spend the night, where that statue of Happy Prince, because it was a shelter where he could get a lot of fresh air. And the bird came there, alighted, descended, and sat in between of the feet of the statue. Now, when the bird was sitting in the between the feet of the happy prince, obviously it was surrounded, the entire statue was made of gold. So that's why he made a comment also. Oh, I have a golden bedroom. Wow. But as he was about to sleep and putting his head under the wing, a large drop of water fell on him. The bird was surprised from where this water came because there was no patch of cloud in the sky. It was not even a rainy season. So the bird could not believe that from where this drop of water has come. And then another drop fell. Now see what happened. Oh, what is the use of a statue if it cannot keep the rain off? He said. I must look for a good chimney pot, and he determined to fly away. Now, Swallow thought that it is useless. This place is useless as it could not be able to protect him from rain. So he decided to go somewhere, not under the statue, somewhere better where he can take the shelter and sleep peacefully, and thought to move away in a chimney of a house because that place is much more better than this place and it will protect him from the rain. So chimney pot is a better option for him. So he took his decision that yeah, I will fly away from this place. But before he had opened his wings, a third drop fell and he looked up and saw. Ah, what did he see? But before he could have flown from that place, third drop fell on him. And what was that? Okay, let's find out. Oh, the eyes of the happy prince were filled with tears, and tears were running down his golden cheeks. His face was so beautiful in the moonlight that the little swallow was filled with pity. Now, as soon as the bird looked up, what did he see? He saw that the eyes of the happy prince's statue were filled with tears. Yes, happy prince who was always known for being happy. He lived happily, he died happily. Usually he was wearing a smile on his face. But unfortunately, that very day, his eyes were filled with tears. And actually, it was not the drops of water or the rainwater, it were the teardrops falling off the statue's golden cheeks. And when the swallow looked at Happy Prince's face, which was actually looking very, very beautiful in the moonlight, and his heart was filled with pity because he had never seen such a beautiful statue weeping like this. And that's why, what did he ask? Who are you? He said, I am the happy prince. So, normal conversation that I am the happy prince. Why are you weeping then? Asked the swallow. Oh, you are happy, prince. Happy means you have to be happy. अबे happy बोल रहे हो and still you are crying. So how can you say so? You are not supposed to cry. Why are you weeping? And then also complained. Not only asked him that why are you weeping, but also complained why you have quite drenched me. Drenched, wet, soaked with water, bhiga dena. So you have actually soaked me with water, with tears. So why are you crying when your name itself say you are a happy prince? Then there is no reason of you for crying. Now the happy prince will tell us the entire story. When I was alive and had a human heart, answered the statue, I did not know what tears were. For I lived in the palace where sorrow is not allowed to enter. My courtiers called me, courtiers, subordinates, court people, ministers, and other people, they called me the happy prince, and happy indeed I was. So I lived and so I died. So now he is actually narrating his story, that what happened. He said that when he was alive and he had a human heart means that heart which beats, okay, a live person. He was alive at that time. So he was not aware what tears were and what sorrow was because he lived in a palace, luxurious life where everyone was happy. There was happiness all around. All the people who used to work in his court, They all called him Happy Prince because he used to be happy all the time. Why? Because he had not seen any sorrow. कोई दुख देखा ही नहीं है भाई. छोटे बच्चे को देखा है ना? Have you seen the small children? They are always happy, far from all the worries and miseries and all the responsibilities of life. And if you go and ask them, I'm talking about small kids. Nowadays, kids are also very much worried. Okay. So I'm talking about 1 or 2 or 3 years old children. If you ask me, are you happy? They will very sweetly say, yeah, I am happy. Because they have not, their parents are there to look after them. Okay. And they have not seen any grief and misery. May God bless them and all. So generally, but this happy prince was so lucky. He was so fortunate that he was born in such a family, in such a kingdom or a palace, you can say, where nothing, there was no worry, no misery, no anxiety, no problem. So that's why he had never seen any sorrow. Koi dukh dekha hi nahi. That's why he was always happy. And he said, that's why he said that when he was alive, he lived happily and he died also in happiness because there was no sorrow in the life of him as well as other people. कभी कभी आप अपने दुख से नहीं दूसरों के दुख से भी दुखी होते हो. But this prince was so lucky that he had not been able to witness any other sorrow in his life. But now, when he's dead and his statue has been placed on a huge platform from where he can see everything, what happened? What is he saying, Suno? And now that I am dead, they have set me up here so high that I can see the ugliness and all the misery of my city. And though my heart is made of lead, yet I cannot choose but weep. Lead heart. Lead heart means a strong heart made of lead, a metal. Although metal had no feelings, but still that lead heart can see the misery and can cry. So he's saying that now, when I had a human heart, which was a warm beating heart, which can feel the emotion, then I never cried because I never saw any misery. And now, actually, at that time, he was not aware what tears were because he had never been unhappy, never faced any sorrow. But now, when he is dead, they had put him so high in the form of a statue on a pedestal, on a platform, that he could see the whole city and also the ugliness of city. Ugliness of city means what? Ugliness of people, different type of negative emotion, है ना, बहुत सारी negativity he had seen. How people are jealous, how people are teaching, torturing everyone. So he could see that there are so many people living in misery, lack of food, hunger, money, homelessness, orphan children. Oh, so much misery in this world. बड़ा दुख है. And that is why, even though his heart, which is made of lead, which is made of a metal, so hard, नहीं कहते stone hearted हो तुम, metal hearted, you are strong. That means stone hearted basically means you are hard hearted people. You have no emotion, no feeling for others. But what is happening here? Even though his heart is made of lead, hard hearted he is, but still he can feel the feelings. He can see the sadness, and he has become sad and now weeping. So that's why. What? Is he not solid gold? Said the swallow to himself. He was too polite to make any personal remarks. Okay, so he's saying when the happy prince was telling his story, Swallow was thinking something else in his mind. The bird was actually wondering that the statue of the prince was made of solid gold. But then he was surprised to see that this statue from outside it is covered with gold, but from inside it is made of lead, not of gold. Okay, and he realized that it was hollow and was not made of solid gold. And that is why he felt that how this prince, he was crying despite leading a happy life and a happy death. And that's why he did not comment anything. He simply said, oh, I was wondering that maybe the heart is also made of gold. Anyway, now see, once again he is saying, far away, continued the statue in a low musical voice. जैसे लग रहा था बहुत कोई music is flowing Far away in a little street, there is a poor house. One of the windows is open, and through it, I can see a woman seated at a table. Her face is thin and worn, and she has coarse red hands, all pricked by the needle, for she is a seamstress. Now, see the meaning first of all. Thin and worn, that means very old, looking like a very tired face. Chorus means rough hand. And seamstress means a woman who is making her living by embroidering something or sewing something. Okay, seamstress. So the statue is continuing its story. And you know how, as I spoke now in a low musical tone, so the statue was also speaking in the same manner. And what is he narrating? What is the story? So, no. There was a house of a poor woman. He can see a house, which is actually a house of a poor woman. And the window of house is open, so he can see what is happening inside the room. The lady is sitting near a table. Face is thin, tired. Hands are rough because the needles have pricked and obviously it destroyed the tenderness of the hand. The entire hand is pricked by the needle. Why, you know? Because she is a seamstress who is actually using needle for her job. तो वो एम्ब्रॉयडरी करने में आप निडल एवरी टाइम इफ यू आर यूजिंग हैंड से जो हैंड वीव एंड होल्ड करते हैं तो उनके ऑब्वियसली देयर हैंड्स आर प्रिक्ड ऑल्दो दे आर यूजिंग एक तरह से वो छोटा सा यूज करते हैं हिल्ट बट स्टिल इट इज नॉट comfortable. Now what is she doing? She is embroidering flowers on a satin gown for the loveliest of the queen's maids of honor. Why? To wear at the next court ball. Now, in a bed in the corner of the room, her little boy is laying ill. He has a fever and asking his mother to give him oranges. His mother has nothing to give him but only river water. So he is crying. And then so again he is narrating, he's continuing his story. What happened? satin is a satin एक क्वालिटी जैसे कॉटन होता है ना कॉटन सिल्क या फिर क्रेप शिफॉन उसी तरह का एक टाइप ऑफ क्लोथ सैटिन बहुत सॉफ्ट होता है ओके सैटिन कपड़े so the woman was embroidering flowers on a gown किसके लिए बना रही है of the queen's maid who would walk along with the queen during a court ball ball समझते हो ना court ball डांस पार्टी बॉल क्या होता है डांस पार्टी सो ही वॉज एक्चुअली मेकिंग अ गाउन हैंड एम्ब्रॉयडरी करके गाउन बना रही है ओके सोच लो एंड फॉर द क्वींस मेड नाउ देर इज अ लिटिल चाइल्ड ऑल्सो sleeping in that room who is actually not well. He is suffering from fever. And what is he asking his mother to give him? Only oranges. But his mother is so poor that she had no oranges. Obviously, she had no money. She cannot even afford to buy oranges. And that's why she could only give him water, river water. And that is why the little boy is crying. Now, once again, the happy prince says in the same low musical tone, swallow, swallow, little swallow, will you not bring her the ruby out of my sword hilt? My feet are fastened, you know, bandha hua, to this pedestal, that platform, and I cannot move. Sword hilt, you know, the handle of the sword. So, once again, in the same so tone, musical tone, the bird said, oh, swallow, swallow, I request you, swallow. Please do take out the ruby stone from my handle of the sword and give it to that lady, the poor lady. Because, and he also said that since I am fastened, I am fixed on this platform as a statue, it is not possible for me to run or to move. So I'm asking you, requesting you. Now the bird was not very eager to do till that moment because he did not know the happiness of sharing, caring, helping, of kindness. तो जब तक आप कुछ अच्छा नहीं करोगे बच्चों, तब तक आप कैसे जानोगे कि कुछ अच्छा करके कितना अच्छा लगता है? So till that moment, Swallow has not done anything great in her life, in his life. So that's why he's saying, "Oh, I'm waited for in Egypt," said the swallow. "My friends are flying up and down the Nile, River Nile, and talking to the large lotus flowers. Soon they will go to sleep." So swallow actually refused. And he says, "No, no, no, I'm not going to do all these things. I had to go to Egypt, and my friends are waiting there. They are in Egypt. They are flying near the Nile River, talking to large lotus flowers. Okay, Nile River, you know, flowing near in Egypt. And soon they would go to sleep." And so he wanted to reach to the Egypt as early as possible. But the prince again asked the swallow to stay with him for one night and be his messenger. He said, "Okay, I know that you have to go, but can you help me?" Hmm? 1 minute. Okay, so Prince asked the swallow to stay with him for only one night and be his messenger. "The boy is so thirsty and the mother is so sad," he said. Again, he made a request. Okay, that please, why don't you be messenger on my behalf? You know, the boy is very thirsty. You need oranges. Mother is very sad. She has no money. So please, my dear swallow, go and give the ruby stone to her. That ruby is actually a very precious stone. So if you will give it to her, she can go to market, sell it, and buy something. Again, swallow said, "Oh, I don't think I like boys. I want to go to Egypt." So once again, swallow opposed. "No, no, no, I will not. I don't like boys." Why? You know, because boys generally used to hit with a stone. They are quite mischievous and naughty. So for that reason, swallow saying, "Oh, I don't want to go to there. Moreover, I had to go to Egypt." But the happy prince looked so sad that the little swallow was sorry. "Oh, it's very cold here," he said. But he agreed to stay with him for one night and be his messenger. "Okay, so thank you, little swallow," said the prince. Anyway, although Swallow did not like boys, but he cannot refuse the request which was made by such a sweet, simple prince. So that's why he said, "Oh, I cannot refuse you. Although I don't like boys, boys को तो बहुत लोग पसंद नहीं करते क्योंकि they are actually very naughty, है ना? Or only girls are naughty, but boys are actually destructive. Even in the classrooms, I've seen they make a lot of noise. Oh, I'm missing those days when we will come back to the classroom where I want to see boys fighting. No, no, not fighting, making, but that happy classroom. No, you all are missing or not? Pray to God. Okay, so, huh. So even though he first of all he refused, but later he agreed कि चलो कोई बात नहीं, I will go there. And okay, the happy prince was sad. Swallow felt sorry for him. He decided even though it's very cold, but I will stay for one night. And the next morning I will take this ruby, this precious stone to the seamstress, and I will help you. And happy prince thanked him. Okay, पहले उसे thank you कर दिया. अब क्या हुआ? The swallow, okay, 1 minute. The swallow picked out the great ruby from the prince's sword and flew away with it in its beak over the roofs of the town. So, as he had promised him, okay, the swallow took the ruby stone and flew away with, obviously, he has no hand generally, so he has kept it in his beak and then roofs of the town. While passing, he passed by the cathedral tower. Cathedral क्या है बताओ सुनो. Cathedral is a church, and is उस church पे there is a tower, okay, which is made of different type of nice things are sculptured there. So He passed by the cathedral tower where the white marble angels were sculptured. He passed by the palace and heard the sound of dancing. So, as the swallow was on its way to the poor woman's house, he passed the cathedral church, which was so nicely sculptured. When he reached the palace, he crossed the palace and he could hear the sound of dancing from inside the palace. Now, what the writer wants to convey, Oscar Wilde, what he wants? He wanted to show you the two different world of rich and poor. ये जो उसने explain किया है, इसका meaning है he wanted to show you the difference between a rich and a poor. That rich people, they are so happy since they have a lot of luxuries in their life, they have a lot of money in their life. But one thing I would like to tell you, my children, money doesn't bring all the happiness in your life. It can bring limited comforts, but if you feel that money will bring make you happy from all whatever, no, it is not so. There are other things in the world which can make you happy except money. So, but yeah, here the writer is trying to show you the two different world. One is rich people's world. They are happy, dancing, singing, nice sounds are coming. And then there is another place where a child is crying only for the oranges. Nothing to eat he has. He is not well, suffering from fever. And mother is so helpless, crying helplessly because she cannot even provide oranges to her son. So now see what is happening in cathedral. A beautiful girl came out on the balcony with her lover. Oh, I hope my dress will be ready in time for the state ball, she said. I have ordered flowers to be embroidered on it, but the seamstress are so lazy. You know, when this swallow was crossing over the palace, a girl who is actually standing in the balcony with her lover, she was hoping that the gown which she has asked the seamstress, the same seamstress whose son is not well, just imagine her phase of mind. She cannot even feed her only son. So, and about the same seamstress, she is saying that I know she is very lazy. Although I have asked her to embroider some flower on it, but I know that she will not complete the work on time because without knowing the fact why seamstress will not be able to complete the work on time, maybe she is going through some problem. देखो यही होता है, we make judgment, किसी के बारे में हम फटक से judgment बना लेते हैं, okay he, that's why, but we don't know what is actually going inside his life. So that lady was also not knowing that even though seamstress was working very hard, because when she will give this gown to the lady, then only she will be able to earn a little bit of money by which she can help her ailing son. But comment देखो कि okay, I know they are very lazy. So now he heard this, obviously उसे अच्छा नहीं लगा होगा. So then what happened? But the seamstress, he passed over the river and saw the lanterns hanging on the masts of the ships. At last he came to the poor women's house and looked in. Okay, so swallow was flying over the river. He also saw ships. Obviously, ship also came his way on his way. Lanterns were hanging on their sail. And finally, he reached the women's house. The boy was tossing feverishly on his bed. Tossing, you know, toss करना, इधर उधर घूमते रहना, restless होना, left and right turning. And obviously, the boy was very ill, very hungry, and the mother had fallen asleep. She was so tired. And sometimes, so boy was suffering from fever, and obviously hungry he was, so he was not even able to go to sleep. On the contrary, he was turning left and right. Restlessness was there. And the lady, who was very tired due to working for long hours, had fallen asleep. In he hopped. Hop means समझते हो ना, jump. Birds, have you seen birds? Are they used to hop? And laid the great ruby on the table besides the women's thimble. Thimble क्या होता है? Thimble is actually a kind of एक तो मतलब एक metal या plastic का cap होता है. Generally, these kind of those who use needle, so they used to wear it to protect the finger, okay, and push the needle in swing. So he that there was kept the thimble rakha hua tha, so he kept the ruby beside that thimble, okay. And then he flew gently round the bed, fanning the boy's forehead with his wing. Dekho, for the very first time, swallow is going to taste, समझ रहे हो ना, of doing some taste of doing something good in life. I told you ना कि ये भी addiction होता है. Goodness is also an addiction. Kindness is also an addiction. Once you will start doing good thing, you will be addicted. Okay, because you will feel so nice. इतना अच्छा लगेगा अच्छा करके कि आप हमेशा अच्छा करना चाहोगे. So then, when the swallow reached there and he saw the restless child, he took a round. पूरा चारों तरफ इस बेड के घूमने लगा, फैन करने लगा with his wings. How cool I feel, said the boy. I must be getting better. And he sank into a delicious slumber. Delicious means सबको पता है, but that is not used for slumber means sleep. तो थोड़ा personification है. Sank his here मतलब he slept. So he kept the ruby stone, mother was sleeping, and the nice, sweet swallow bird who was doing something good for the very first time, he he took a round of him and he kept that. And the little boy, he felt very nice. He felt so nice because maybe because of that fanning effect, or maybe the God had mercy on him, he started feeling quite well. Okay. अब यहाँ पे क्या हुआ कि now the boy slept nicely. Then the swallow flew back to Happy Prince and told him what he had done. Swallow came back and he narrated the entire story. It is curious, he remarked, but I feel quite warm now, although it is so cold. Now the bird is saying that it's so strange, it's so queer, that why am I feeling warm enough, although the weather is so cold? Then what did he answer? That is because you have done a good action, said the prince. Okay, मतलब अच्छा काम करोगे तो God will also be kind to you, merciful to you. So he also said that since you have done a good action, that's why you are feeling warm. Okay. Oh, that is. And then the little swallow began to think and then fell asleep. Thinking always made him sleepy. So after listening to Happy Prince, the swallow started thinking. He loved to think because whenever he is thinking, he'll feel asleep. And he is now sleeping nicely.